Welcome to Informatica Cloud 201 on-demand course, Expression Macro. Upon completion of this module, you will be able to describe expression macro and types of expression macros. An expression macro is a macro that you use to create repetitive or complex expressions in mappings. An expression macro can perform calculations across a set of fields or constants. At runtime, the task expands the expression to include all the input fields and constants and then writes the results to the output fields. There are three types of macro expressions in Informatica Cloud. The first one is vertical, horizontal, and hybrid. The vertical macro generates a set of similar expressions to perform the same calculation on multiple incoming fields. The horizontal macro generates one extended expression that includes a set of fields or constants. A hybrid macro expands an expression both vertically and horizontally. A hybrid macro generates a set of vertical expressions that also expand horizontally. Now let us discuss how to use expression mapping in the Cloud Mapping Designer. When there is a need to use an expression or transformation in a loop or a number of times, it becomes difficult to map the same transformation again and again. For this purpose, macro expressions are used. Macro expressions are the reusable mappings that can be used to perform a number of iterations. For example, if you want to copy a field name from the first field of a transformation and paste it in some other field of the same transformation, let's say you have to perform the same task 11 times. You will have to copy the details and paste it 11 times manually. Rather, you can use a macro expression in which you provide the suitable expression and a condition. The integration service itself copies the name from the first field and pastes it in the target field till the condition is satisfied. Once the condition fails, the loop breaks and the process is stopped. Let us now see a demonstration on macro expression. In this demo, we will configure mappings in Informatica Cloud and use macro expression transformation in the mapping. We will export data from various sources that it can further analyze using a third-party tool. When we export the data, we need to make sure that all the date-time fields have been converted to a custom format, for example, MMDDYYYY. Log in to the Informatica Cloud org using your credentials. To create a new mapping, hover on Design and click Mappings. Click the New Mapping button. Name the mapping as Macro Date Format Demo and give a suitable description. Click OK. It is recommended that you give a prefix M for mappings. Now, we will add a source to the mapping. From the palette on the left-hand side, drag and drop the source icon onto the canvas. In the Source Properties pane, enter EM Source Demo in the name field. Click the Source tab in the Source Properties pane and create a new connection parameter by clicking the New Parameter button. In the New Input Parameter window, name the parameter as par src con_d and click OK. Select the source type as parameter. Create a new parameter by clicking the New Parameter button. In the New Input Parameter window, name the parameter as par src obj_d and click OK. Now that we have created a source, we will now be adding the first expression transformation to the mapping. Drag and drop the expression icon onto the canvas. Map the output from the source transformation to the input of the expression transformation. Rename the expression as macro exp demo. In the Incoming Fields tab, click All Fields under the Field Selection criteria and then select Fields by Data Types. Now, click the Configure option appeared under Detail column. Check Date Time under the Data Types section and click OK. Click on the Expressions tab. To create a new variable field, click the arrow. Select New Field from the drop-down menu. In the Appeared window, enter the details in the New Field window. Field type as Variable Field. Name as New Format. Type as String. And precision as 100. Click OK. To edit the date format, click Configure. In the Appeared window, enter the expression MMDDYYYY. Validate the expression and click OK. Now we will create an input macro field and name it as port. Click OK. Configure to choose input option as field and select all incoming fields from the drop-down menu. After creating the input macro field, we will also create an output macro field with a precision of 100. Configure the same to enter an expression in the expression field. You cannot validate the expression due to the presence of macro input field, so click OK without validating. Now let us add a second expression to the mapping. Map the output of the source transformation to the input of the expression transformation. Rename the expression as pass-through expression_demo. In the Incoming Field tab, create a field rule with exclude as the operator and select Fields by Data Types in the Field Selection criteria drop-down. Configure to select Date Time. The Field Rule sections now has two field rules. Now, add a target for the mapping. Drag and drop the target transformation icon into the canvas. Map the output of both the expression transformations to the input of target. Rename the target as EM_Target_Demo. On the Target tab, create a new connection parameter, par_target_connection_D. Select the target type as parameter and create another new parameter as par_target_object_D. In the Field Mapping tab, change the field map options from manual to automatic. Now let us validate and save and run the mapping. To open the validation panel, click the validation icon. A validation pane will appear on the right-hand side of the window and will check for the errors if there are any and rectify them and continue. Hover on Save. Click Save and Continue, and the mapping status will display as valid. To run the mapping, hover on Save and click Save and Run. A three-step task wizard will appear. If you have more than one runtime environment available in your org, then there will be the definition step. Otherwise, if you have only one runtime environment, then it will directly show the two steps wizard having source and the target steps. Enter the runtime environment in the definition. In the source, select the Salesforce connection. Source type as single and select account as the source object. In the target, select your flat file connection and create a new target named as accwithformattedDate.csv and click OK. Validate the template and the parameter values by clicking the Validate button. After the successful validation, click Run to run the mapping. While running, the mapping appears in the Activity Monitor where you can view its status. Once the mapping is successfully executed, its details appear in the Activity Log. You should see that the task is executed successfully. You can check and verify the affected fields in the output file and compare them with the data in the Salesforce org. This concludes the demonstration on macro expression. In this lab, you will create a simple mapping using the Mapping Designer. Practice adding sources and targets to a mapping. Practice using the expression macro transformation. This concludes the macro expression module. In this module, we described the expression macro and types of expression macros.